Trading is about knowing the field, foreseeing the opportunity, executing at the right moment. Timing is everything.
Welcome, Dream Team, to yet another edition of The Good, the Bad and the Rugby, in partnership with City Index, the leading provider of spread betting, CFD and FX trading. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year to come.
Very Merry Christmas.
A very Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We'll wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Stuff of Christmas nightmares. Today, we're going to take... You were 128 kgs when you got back from Dubai.
Yes.
Post-Turkey, we're weighing in at a massive...
I'd say post-Turkey on a full graze. So champagne breakfast, smoked salmon, toast, croissant, champagne, and then picking throughout the day, then a huge graze up, mince pies, Christmas pudding, and then some late night platter. I reckon we're looking for 132. Heavy 132. And do you know what? The breathing to match. James, could you go upstairs and find your brother? Like tins on a good day. Like honestly, if I tried to run, I'd be going off like a kettle. The kettle's boiled, and that's James getting upstairs.
But everyone's seen you walk, so we know there is no running.
He's got one of those Stannis Stairless.
Yeah.
He just sits down.
You know, so when I walk with the old gammy ankle, it slaps on the ground.
You're like a penguin.
Yeah, so Chloe said that if you imagine if a frog could stand on two legs and run, you just hear, that's exactly what I sound like when I'm walking.
I love the fact that Chloe has spent time wondering what a frog would be like if it walked on two legs.
But if you imagine if a frog walked on two legs, what it would sound like.
If you spent a lot of time with cats,
you'd go to some very dark places.
You'd probably think some weird shit.
Yeah.
Today, rather like cold turkey and cold Brussels sprouts, we're going to take you on a trip through some dark times and some good times too, with the best of the GB&R moments and our guests over the last year or so. With these two, the terrible two are back. Should we just get straight into the shambles?
Yeah,
good game's a quick game after Christmas, isn't it? As I'm sure you know, no two shows are ever the same. But the stories, we hope, are sometimes inspiring. They're sometimes relatable. Very importantly, though, they are always real. And we would like to take a moment at this point to say a huge thank you to you, dear reader, dear listener, for sticking with us. And at times, I know it has been very tough. But for those of you who have stuck with us over the last year, we salute you. Incredible. Do you want some stats?
Do you know what, Alex? We bloody love some stats. I've actually been having a great time in Dubai DJing, and I've had no stats, and I've come back and gone, well, the first thing I need is some really fucking boring stats delivered by an absolute Poindexter in a Christmas jumper and a bone tie. So shoot.
Not surprised your family don't like you very much.
Personal, but true.
Incredibly, the average podcast listen time is, little spread bet,
I would say, how long do we normally do? I
don't know. Because
it feels like 3 days.
Do you know what it is? I do it, and then I never listen to it back.
Week. It's 1 hour and 20 minutes. So obviously people press play and just go off and do other things.
Most people have a stroke and they die, and then when it finishes, they start back up again.
We have 500,000 listens to the show and content each week. That utterly stuns me, but it apparently is true.
500,000 listens to the show.
That probably includes a bit of social content as well.
That is amazing.
That is amazing. 500,000 people listen to you two dribble and drivel into the microphone.
Yeah. I will say this though, when I was in Dubai, the amount of people who came up with
is that going to be a thing from now on?
When I was
in Dubai,
it's like Alan Partridge's "Needless to say, I had the last laugh."
Yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to imply is I've done really well. I don't need this gig, but I've come back just for you lot. And the amount of people who came up to me and went, mate, sorry to interrupt you, bloody love the pod, right? Middle of the DJ set, they're like, mate, hash. I'm like, yeah, fade it down. Where's Pano? Hey, bloody love the pod, fade it up. Mate, pod's great. Where's Tins? Tins here, not Tin. Honestly, all week.
So what you're saying is you do need the pod.
Exactly.
I sort of need the pod.
You basically need us.
It sort of defines
we
you
are the
in some
crutches on which you live your life.
Yes.
With your flappy frog foot.
That's the next, copy the next book. Has coming round.
The Wind in the Willows rewrite. Remix.
Imagine that. Who would you be? The wind? You'd be Toad.
I'd be Ratty.
You reckon?
Yeah,
I'll
you'd be
so,
Badger.
So Badge.
You're Badge.
I'm Toad.
Fuck nuts Toad.
Meep, meep. In that car.
Noisy, brash, arrogant, inept,
spend all the money,
unpopular.
drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're missing Molly. Ellis.
Good luck you calling him Molly. He's king of the castle
baby
at the moment,
mole.
isn't he?
He is the king
He's
of the
absolute
castle.
dog.
He could dig, though. He
could dig, yeah. What does
we
he
need him to dig?
How many wins are they from?
Isn't it funny with Ellis how, like, when he first came down, we were like, he was like, "Oh, guys, it's lovely to be here. How do you do? Nice to meet." It wasn't like that, but he was like, "Oh, it's nice to be here. Pod, interesting." And now we're like, "Please keep us with you, Ellis. Please don't leave us. Please, please, please."
Yeah, I don't think he was like that. He was like, all right, Babber, don't worry about it. Now
he's refined.
Hello, it's Ellis Genge's secretary. I'm sorry, Ellis can't make it at the moment. He's dominating the world.
He's building an empire right now. Please, can you get in line?
Yeah, he doesn't need nobody now.
Right.
Pardon? What's that? He don't need no one. He's all top of the world in Bristol / Leicester.
Grab yourself a turkey sandwich, it says here, and join us to take a look back on some of the best bits of the last year with us. Hask, Lord, and Payno. Don't call me that. With some unbelievably famous names. We have had some unbelievably famous names, actually. Kieran Reid, Cheslin Cole. Why are you laughing?
Because it's funny. You know, like...
Do you know what I feel like? I feel like we're reading the script for a nativity play.
Well, I'm third lobster
You're
from the
the
left.
kid when they knock on the door and they say, "Any room at the inn?" And he's disgruntled because he's not Joseph. The innkeeper goes, "Yes, come on in." And I was like, "Oh, remix." You don't actually understand the nativity plays. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I do. I just meant, you know, when
been a donkey.
He will do at some point in the future when he grows up.
Oh, no.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Satirically.
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 Statistically. Sit down, statistically.
Statistically. Statistically, all jokes aside, I could say I was hamming it up. Statistically, people who play Mary and Joseph are much more likely to be successful. I was third cloud from the left. Like, look where I've ended up. You two must have been, palm tree number 1 and sheep 3.
All I know is Mia was a star. So
sweet. Keeping the parents happy. Yeah. Keeping the parents happy.
Imagine that. They go like going, "Oh, we're going to make her the third crab." Well, there was crabs at the nativity play, and then he just goes, flips a badge over it, just as the royal seal. Remember who the star? Better.
I did the lighting.
Oh, of course you did. All in black media. I'm edgy.
I didn't really.
You did.
Very Brent, that.
Very
Brent.
Yeah. Caravan. I'm just laughing at the people. We had Kieran Reid and Cheslin Colby, Dan Carter, Eddie Jones. Who the hell else have we had? We've had everybody.
It. Yeah, we
the
have.
Beast. Wait, Sonny Bill Williams took time out from being a sex god to join us.
Right.
Who have we not had? We were going to have Richie McCaw, but we couldn't make the time work because he was too busy running up a fucking mountain, which I don't understand. Richie McCaw was one of the most physical number 7s there's ever been, and still has a physically functioning body, and I don't. And I wasn't as good a player.
You can't walk up an elevator.
Yeah, I can't walk up a small stool.
No. We've had some very funny moments, not on this show.
Back to the script.
Starting with the one and only Dan Carter, who dared to join us on a Zoom, but the sex god himself hadn't done his hair. Have a listen to this.
You're not saying you range of wigs, are you? With a haircut, with that special hairpiece.
I knew. Harry. I jumped on and I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter how my hair is, because I've actually got some. And
nice.
I always knew that I was going to be safe. But the fact you brought the hair up straight away, who's, he's clutching to keep his on, and turns. We don't even need to go there. It's gone long ago. So if you want to chat about here, Payno and I can take this offline and
we'll compare quaff notes in the aftermath. I'm looking forward to it.
And then there was Jack Noll, who joined us in a relative state of undress at the Christmas party last year.
Wow, yeah. Randall, is that Rudolph?
No, that's not Rudolph.
Tell Rudolph comes to the North Hole, it looks like a black hole.
Just for audio listeners, all I can tell you is you need to watch this on YouTube, particularly if you've had a quiet year where you haven't necessarily been out and about in the way that you would like. Has arrived at our Christmas party in a budgie smuggler thong with Rudolph on the... Rudolph's red nose is looking...
These are custom ones. Look who's on them.
Jesus, hope you trimmed up because if there's a bit of a spider's web hanging out. Oh, it's Nollsy! Right, the reindeer.
Jack Noll is wearing a thong with his face on it.
You know when you used to think you were big time, and then someone rocks on a show and he's got his own face on his own fucking budgies.
He loves a budgie, doesn't he?
He loves a budgie. He's a very sexy man.
But he
Jack
looks
Noll.
good in a budgie. That's quite.
Chloe's
annoying,
got a
isn't
real
it, to
thing
fill a
for Jack
thing.
Noll.
You looked quite good in a budgie
10 years ago.
before the fluffiness happened.
Now you look like Ray Winston in Sexy Beast.
Before 132
What?
happened.
No. No.
That's what you look like on a
You'll be-
Lilo.
you'll be-
Ducati.
I'll have a calamari and then I'll...
You'll be back, mate.
It certainly does feel like it says it does feel like we've come a long way since last Christmas. I'm not sure we've got a lot to show for it.
I don't feel we do.
Let's
In
show.
all fairness to Jack Noll, he did come on the live show, but he did go a bit Marler. He was quite aggro, wasn't he? He was quite
With me.
Yeah.
Do I bring that
understand
out to
why.
people?
He did go full Marler on you. I tell you what, Jack is great value, mate.
Your relationship with Eddie is
leaves me alone.
right.
Lets me do what I want to do, and then lets me know whether I'm playing or not, or whether I'm picked. It's a pretty good relationship. To
Are
be
you
fair.
are you an Eddie Jones pet? Would you be described as?
What do you mean, pet?
Are you one of his favourites?
Well, I don't know. He's never told me.
Right. Would others perceive you as one of his favourites?
I wouldn't say so.
Right. Okay.
I'm not one of the ones where he.
Who is his pet at the moment?
I don't know. I'm not there.
Oh fucking hell!
And this is why
Has
you
come
tune
back-
into the insights of rugby with a good...
You know the environment. You know the players. There are about 2 new faces in there. When you were
There's
in
not.
England
There's a lot of
camp.
new faces in there.
Well,
now.
all right. Okay. Who, when you were there, was Eddie Jones' favourite? You're turning into Marler.
Yeah.
Good. I don't know why you're laughing, because you didn't turn up to any of the Autumn Nation shows live with Red Bull at the Prince. We had a very nice time, nevertheless. In fact, we had a nicer time, nevertheless.
Did we not agree to replace him?
Yeah, well, we tried to get Dylan on, but I think he said in the aftermath he's not sure his brand fits with our brand. But he did have a lot to say about you and your wild rumour mongering.
I want to ask you a quick question just about, obviously, Mako at this point still hasn't been called in to the England squad. Billy isn't at the moment in Eddie Jones' plans, etc. Quite a few others who seemingly are being moved on at this point. As someone who's been through that, I mean, you had a great relationship with Eddie.
I didn't get moved on. I got injured, then retired.
Right.
I get tired.
Okay,
no.
believe
I'll
it.
tell you why. I'll tell you why. There's this theme here that I was part of the cull
That's
of
a
Chris
very valid
Robshaw.
point. That is a very
James
valid
Haskell,
point.
because James Haskell usually sits here and he says, "Yeah, me, Jordan Hartley, we got cold." I got injured.
That is a very valid point.
I got injured. I did not get cold,
That is
and
a
I
very
just
valid
couldn't
point.
make it back, and I retired from the game.
I retract, and rephrase.
I was
going to
get cold.
Right.
So
So I retired.
exactly.
Oi, I love Dylan. I'm gutted I missed out on those live shows. Sound like he fully gave you a run for your money, just like this guy always does. One of my favourite guests of all time is Joe Marler, who wasn't in the mood for any of my shit chat when he dialed in for a conversation with us from his caravan.
His caravan.
His caravan.
Are you in a caravan at the moment? Are you in a caravan at the moment? Just answer the question for the judge. I'm for the panel. Are you in a caravan as we speak with a battery light illuminating you in your fortress of solitude, aka caravan? And also, let's just be very clear.
Looks like a
Don't take it down,
lightsaber.
Don't take it down because you're well lit. It does look like a lightsaber. It looks like something. There he goes. Look. Here we go.
Darth Marler.
It's quite big.
Darth Marler.
James,
right?
I can
And the
confirm
second
I'm
thing
in a
is-
caravan and I am with a
Fine.
tubular.
And by the realms of possibility, for someone, because you live in miles away, right? As we talk, miles and miles away. Ideally, so you don't ever have to have anyone at your house. But I wondered if you move the caravan closer, hence Marcus Smith would have access to it on the right day. You may have been plugged into some sort of, lamppost or something, charging up some accessories, and he might have just popped by for a cup of tea or a boil in the bag curry.
So I thought we'd move past it. You know that time that I came onto your podcast, What a Flanker podcast, which is a wonderful podcast,
Yes.
may I add. Do you remember that time
Thank
I came
you.
up? I made that travel all the way up to see you in person at that lovely studio, and it filmed us, and we had I thought we had a lovely, lovely chat. Got a little bit deep, a little bit light, a little bit dark, a little bit loose, and it wasn't just this massive cock off It was actually really nice to talk to a friend. That's what it felt like. And what you've done now is ruin that friendship because you're showing off in front of your mates. Your regular mates, you're showing off in front of them, and you didn't do that when we were on our own.
Sorry.
Because you've done that, for the rest of the show there'll be occasional shameless plugs.
The Joe Marler Show, which is an equally good podcast.
Love the Marler.
You've got to love the Marler.
I've grown to love the Marler.
He's such good value. I mean, I met him a few times. I'm just going, he's just so random. But who can get away with the fact that he's retired about 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and then he goes to Quinn's, well, Daisy's not quite given birth yet. I might have to miss the semi-final and final. Oh no, Joe, let's get you a chopper. We'll get you there. Don't worry about it. We just can't have you on paternity leave right now. Who writes it?
Don't know. The man makes it up as he goes along, but whatever he's making up, it works pretty well, doesn't it? Have a listen to this.
But I will finally say, it's not like it was like massive luxury chopper. It was the smallest tin can you could squeeze in, and the bloke, the pilot was like, do you want to sit in the front? And I went, not a fucking chance. He went, are you sure? Because the bottom's glass. I went, oh yeah, that really made me get in the front.
Oi, ridiculous behaviour. Ridiculous. He also told us exclusively that being afraid of heights wasn't the only reason he didn't jump at the chance to fly in.
Yes. And then they came out last minute and were like, look, what if we get you a chopper? And I went, fuck off. They said, what do you mean fuck off? I said, fuck off. I said, I'm not getting on a helicopter. And they said, why not? And I said, they said, it's because you're scared of heights, isn't it? I said, no, it's not because I'm scared of heights. I said, what's the problem then? It'll get you there and back in an hour, like you'll be fine. Like fly in, fly out, bosh. I said, that's not the issue. I said, what's the issue? I said, you've done this on purpose. You've not done this to get me to the game. You've done this because you know full well I've got a catalogue of ammo against everyone at this club. There's folders and folders and folders and folders of stuff that I've got. And by you making me take a helicopter like the world's biggest diva to a semi-final in Bristol and back again has now rendered all of those files I have against everyone null and void. So, well played to them, I say. Well played, Harlequins. Because now, whenever I give anyone any shit, they'll just go, didn't you get a helicopter to the game once? And I'll go, yep, I'm off home now.
One of his Quinn's comrades have popped. Sorry, Jesus Christ. Okay, no, comrades, isn't it? Comrades.
If you say it like this, it is comrades.
How do you say it? Comrades.
Comrade.
Okay, one of his Quinn's comrades has popped in to see us since then, and that was Alex Dombrandt, who you may have seen rolling around on a dodgy motorbike with Marler on social media. And I can say with total certainty that is a big upgrade from his last whip that literally looked like a Portaloo on wheels.
I was outside the front and I was walking along and I got a thought, all right, Hask, turned around, thought it was just a fan, because there are a few of them. And this guy was letting out the window of what looks like a portable shoebox on wheels. And I squinted and I thought, who the hell's that? I was like, oh my God, it's Alex Dombrandt in what appears to be one of them Fisher-Price cars, you give the kids, the little orange ones. Yeah. And he's driven forward, whipped it in, reverse, one-handed, like window down, just went to stay humble, just sort of threaded it in next to my car. So the first priority, we have some incredible listeners with some big brands. We need to update the vehicle because I know you stay humble.
Unless you love it.
Unless you love it, but we know you don't love it.
Yeah, it's been good to me over the years. But yeah, if there's anyone out there listening that could help me upgrade, I'd be much appreciated.
What is it that you're driving out of interest?
It's a Ford Fiesta.
Strong.
Yeah.
I had a
white as well.
White Ford Fiesta. Yeah, just been cleaned. Very nice.
Just for the show. I didn't see any does it have a good head unit? You splashed out a few speakers?
No, just the standard stuff. Just the standard.
Do you have a name for yours?
No, I actually don't. You got any ideas?
White Thunder. Like oversell it. Go, fucking hell, here's Alex Dombrandt in White Thunder. I'll go, oh, did you hear it like a rumbling? It's nice.
Yes.
But away from the madness and the drama of the rugby season, as a trio, as friends, and as I like to think, as family now, we've shared some big moments over this year.
We have with you.
A little baby boy arrived at my house.
Oh,
You're
wow.
kidding!
Oh, yeah.
Well done, mate.
Tim,
Congrats.
that's unbelievable. Let's not talk about rugby. How are you getting on?
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. So, 6 o'clock last night.
That's unreal. Have we got a name?
We haven't got a name yet. No, we're still working on it. We've always struggled with that. We never picked one before they arrive.
James is a good name.
Yeah, mate, possibly.
Oh, sorry.
James
That's
Tyndall?
my middle name. I can't do it.
Okay.
Since this is unbelievable. How healthy? How bonny?
£8 very
Solid.
bonny. Arrived very quickly. Didn't make it to hospital. On the bathroom floor.
You're
Wow.
kidding me.
Start up.
Yeah.
Mate, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And how dare I ask, how hands-on were you, or did you have someone to kind of just direct?
Fortunately, Zara's friend Dolly is who has been there. She's actually more important than I am at making sure that she's been at every 3 of my children's births. She was there and recognised that we wouldn't have got to hospital in time. So yeah, it was run into the gym, get a mat, get into the bathroom, get the mat on the floor, towels down, brace.
Oh my god! And a sort of a life.
Fortunately,
experience.
the midwife who was going to meet us at the hospital, it wasn't that far away, so she drove up and got there just as we'd assumed the position. And then the second midwife arrived just after the head had arrived.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a bit carnage, but
Holy Moses!
Because it is that time of year. We had a royal baby born on a bathroom floor. It wasn't quite Jesus of Nazareth, although you've worn sandals for large parts of this year.
I did try
Foggy
and
flea.
get a manger up there.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was a
Poor
long
wife. No wonder she walks with a limp.
That's just not funny.
He said he tried to get a manger up there. It's very funny, Alex. It
It's
works
not
on a
funny.
number of levels.
Well, not many levels. Certainly not the basement that I ever enjoy inhabiting. That's fucking falling apart in my world as well. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. We had a little baby Jesus of Nazareth, Lucas of Minchinhampton. And these are the real moments. I hope you'll agree, actually, these are the real moments and so much of what our pod is all about. We love to get to know the individuals and the people in the game. We like sharing stories with them, but also we love to take you on the journey that we're on as well. And one of our absolute favourite guests over the last year or so has been a man that we just can't keep away. He's a front rower that we have the joy of chatting to regularly on the pod, so much that he's become the fourth wheel on our car. He is the legend that is Ellis Genge, talking about him earlier. Leicester Tigers skipper this season. We had him as England captain. We voted, we campaigned, and we got him England captaincy this summer as well. And remarkably, he was very open and frank. He has been very open and frank a lot of the time, but particularly during the Six Nations last year about the racist abuse that he received online after playing for his country. And it's pretty disgusting, to be honest with you.
Was it post the Wales game that you got death threats?
Yeah, post Wales.
What were you actually sent?
Kill yourself. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to look after him. And a lot of them weren't even like Welsh people. A lot of them were like people from Scotland, people from Ireland and stuff. Like there was a lot of Welsh people, but there was loads from like Scotland, Ireland, even French people. Then after we beat France, I got loads of other heat, but my brother-in-law's French, so I got him to translate a few things and same again. And then after the Ireland game, for obvious reason, apparently I'm a knacker now. So I've had a lot of messages
what's a
calling me a knacker. I don't know. I asked Noll Reid, and I don't know. It's like in English.
Traveller.
It's something like that.
Right. I want to come on to the Ireland game off the back of it, but I mean, what the hell do you do now? And what is the team environment set up and I can't imagine you're the only one to get it. I dread to think who else is receiving this, but do you ping this on to someone who says, we'll take it from here, or do you read it and delete it? What do you do with this?
I replied to a few with like the pokey tongue out face, to the ones that are quite extreme, a few emojis and that, just wind them up, and then I'd say 99% of them I just leave and then don't read, just delete them. Or block people. One person sent in a GIF of like the people with the coffin and said, "Send Ellis home." And then I was like quite confused as to why he was doing that. And then I realized he was like saying, send me home to Africa with like the next few messages that I got. And he was at Boris Johnson in the if Boris is going to reply like, yeah, all right, I'll send him back. But I'm from Bristol. Like some people are just idiots, and it opens my eyes up to how stupid some of the general public are. You know, like you don't realize how many weirdos there are out there, but it's just the world we live in today.
And while we know rugby and society is still a long way away from being totally inclusive, hearing the abuse that players have to go through on a weekly basis, whether it be just for the Premiership clubs or whether it be for international rugby, is still shocking and not where we want this sport to be. But it's not a new thing.
Right.
Giving these players a platform to tell their story in their own words is vital to changing the wider game for the better, which is something the three of us at Good Bad Rugby are extremely passionate about.
And that honesty, and we do talk about it quite a lot, the honesty that we get from players takes all three of us by surprise at times. We didn't expect a legend of the game who swung by during the Lions series, Jeremy Guscott, to tell us that he was intensely disliked by his teammates in his early years at Bath.
I was too verbal and thought I was too good. And that went on until I was maybe 18, 19. And the story of I'm meeting David Trick, both of us were quite relaxed and laid back people. And we went to the wrong training ground. We went to the recreation ground. It should have been Lambridge. And I got in his Golf GTI and was chatting away. I knew the answer, what was coming, but I asked the question. I said, Tricky, what does the rest of the first team think about me? And I was about 18, 19. They said, Jerry, they think you're a bit of a wanker. And from that moment, I had a choice. That was my rugby sliding door moment, really. I had a choice to continue to be a bit of a prat and not liked by everybody, which in rugby is just the wrong way to go. You can't be... What's the point of playing a team sport and not being liked by... if you go for a beer, nobody really wants to have a beer with you. I mean, it's just wrong. Whole thing about sport is rugby is community, is teamship. So that was my sliding door moment in rugby. I decided, right, I'm going to listen rather than talk. And I mean, what a knob anyway, that I've got 20 odd internationals that I can learn so much from. And I'm trying to tell them, hey, they should play rugby. I mean, it's a joke. But I learned very quickly.
When Jerry came on, I didn't expect him to go to the places that he went to. I mean, I was so massively shocked, actually, by what Jerry said in terms of just how powerful that Bath team was at that time, that he felt that they were better and he wouldn't share secrets, wouldn't share what they were doing. I don't think you get it now. It's quite mind-blowing to think that was where he is. I mean, the Lions, as Hask would always tell you, is the pinnacle of any career. You would share anything to make them better. But I just love the fact that it was kept in the back pocket because we thought that Bath team was the best. I mean, as a super fan, you probably agree.
Yeah, if you can, you do. He certainly kept his cards close to the chest with England, but with Lions, it was all out there.
I mean, the biggest individual attribute you have to have, which is not quite what people would believe I'd have, is you've got to be selfless. You really have to be selfless. I mean, it's quite strange. I would give moves that we did at Bath and ideas that we had at Bath to the Lions, but I wouldn't give them to England. Really bizarre, yeah. I had this thing in my head that I didn't want to give it away to England because we'd be playing those guys in the Premiership or the league. But I didn't want them to know what we thought and how we played it. There was one move we gave away, but that was it. And then actually, England couldn't do it. So it was that world class move, and England just couldn't do it. They just didn't get it. And I thought, well, I'm not wasting my time on our IP if they can't do it.
We did have some enormous names on the show over the course of the summer. It was a crazy tour. It was a crazy tour to be a part of as a broadcaster. You were part of it as well with TalkSport, etc. It was. It wasn't, I think, what we all wanted it to be in the end, but there were some extraordinary tales along the way. We had one big Safa not long after it for a bit of a debrief, who was the legend that is Tendai Mtamawira. Beast by name, beast by nature. As we found out, this is where it all started.
What an amazing nickname. You must be just so happy that you got that nickname of all the nicknames that could have been given out?
Oh, no, I'm very grateful. So my best friend in primary school gave me that name. So I don't know if you are familiar with the story, but I'll let you in on it. So when I was born in 1985, I happened to be the heaviest baby ever to be born in Zimbabwe.
Wow.
I weighed well over 5 kgs, man. So I was a beast at birth.
Imagine that, though. But imagine so.
Well done, your mum.
So you're called the Beast, right? And a security firm's interested in working with you. I wonder if you would be nicknamed the Fairy, whether there is not business for you. I mean, what a nickname, security. Man, what I never imagined that you go. I also work in a security firm and have shares in it. I mean, it's the perfect match made in heaven. That I love the fact that you did that.
Does anybody call you Tendai now, or is that only when you're naughty and you haven't necessarily done the washing up or put out the bins?
I think it's only my mom and my wife that call me Tendai. Even my own father calls me Beast. So. Oh man, it's quite hilarious.
It works. It works on a
I
number
should
of
have it
levels.
on my ID card.
Everyone who loves me calls me a dickhead.
It's not quite the same brand, that is it?
No, I can't get any business. I can't get any work. There's no company that wants to employ the dickhead, which is a bit of a shame.
And we also heard about his incredible story on the podcast, the ins, the outs, the failures, the successes. What a boy.
Greatest laugh in rugby too.
And also, let's be honest, what an amazing guy. So inspiring. And the resilience he had just to keep on fighting with that incredible amount of injustice through racism, through selection, was ultimately unreal. And I think we can all take something from it.
Who's one of your favourite guests this year, though?
It's got to be Wayne Pivac, who told us about his career in the police force.
And I was coaching the New Zealand police team, and Steve came on board as an assistant. And Mike Cron was the other selector. So it was the three of us.
It's gone all right since then. I thought he might have been your assistant, as in the two of you were in a car. I was suddenly seeing sort of like massive sideburns and flares and leaping over fences. But that wasn't the reality.
Steve wouldn't be leaping over too many feet.
Going route one.
Would you be who was good cop, bad cop? That's what I was wondering, if you even fit anyone's heads to open doors and stuff like that.
We can't tell too many stories, can we?
Not if you want to keep your job anymore. Well, actually, you know what? You've won a Six Nations, so you can do what you want.
Safe now.
You're safe. Window.
Amazing. But I can't imagine your bank manager's missing it. But do you miss those days? I mean, was it as exciting as it sort of sounds?
Yeah, look, it was a different era. I wouldn't do that job anymore, certainly. I think we got out when we did, because the rules started to change. There was cameras going everywhere. And, back in the day, it was the law of the jungle, really. And it was a different style of policing. But there were less people in prisons and more people behaved themselves.
Imagine getting arrested by him.
Pivac and Hansen, cult figures for sure.
Hansen and Pivac, it sounds like a 1970s show, doesn't it? In some sort of, what are they driving? They're going to be driving
Ford Capri.
Ford Capri, do you think?
Ford Capri, leather jacket.
What was that? What was the car that you and Dylan had in?
Oh, the V-Bang, a Vauxhall Victor. Yeah, like a Vauxhall Victor.
I want a Mustang. I want something. There needs to be a little bit of attitude there, but then I want them rolling across the bonnet. I want big sideburns.
No Mustangs in New Zealand.
No, that's what I mean.
You've got to reflect. You've got to reflect what's over there.
Okay, so basically, Hansen and Pivac in a larder, bad cop and badder cop. Just rolling round, Pivac with a little roll up on the side of his corner.
There's going to be such a good mock-up. There's going to be such a good mock-up photo.
And every Team Social get to work.
And Hansen's always by the chip stall with the chips before the criminal runs past. And he's like, Steve, you're not going to get that? He's like, fucking, we'll get him next time. And that's what it'd be like, the comedy sketch. Oh, look what you've gone and done. Wayne, you made me feel my chip.
Unbelievable. I would just love. Can you imagine getting pulled over? You go, shit, I'm just speeding a little bit. And who's the one? Which one of Pivac and Hansen is diving over the bonnet? Sliding over the bonnet.
I'd worry about my bonnet if I'm
if Hansen dived over the bonnet, it wouldn't be left the car. But Hansen, you've dived over the bonnet, the wheels have fallen off again.
You owe us a new car, the fourth this week.
Which one was good cop and which one was bad
Pivac,
cop?
mate, my arse is fucking Pivac, mate, my arse has gone through the fucking windscreen. I can't get it.
Having spoke to the two guys, I think Pivac would be the good guy. Hansen would be the bad guy.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Both firm but fair.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times we hear that clip.
Yeah.
It never gets old. And I'm gutted that for whatever reason, the T-shirts that we had planned never made it to fruition.
One day we will release that.
Yeah.
It's just been an absolute wonder. We've had some unbelievable guests where T-shirts we could be making Rodney next year.
Millionaires.
We'd be millionaires. We also had the Irish Goats on the show. We had Dricko, and he told us about the golden story about the Monday Night Club.
And then Sunday, we'd have Sunday off again and be like, oh God, we're going to have a couple of settlers. Couldn't go in on Monday if we were feeling like this.
Always need the settlers, bring the emotion.
So but then we, in the early 2000s, we used to have a Monday night club. And we'd go out for like really nice dinners in good restaurants and then try and find a club to go to. And it could be, 2 or 3 in the morning and then coming in for 8 or 9, on the Tuesday morning, trying to avoid any coach, trying to avoid the strength and conditioning coach, and just trying to get through it. So like you could have a triple header or, 4 nights on the bounce. And there we were wondering, we just can't quite win the silverware. I don't know what our stumbling block is. And then eventually it kind of dawned on us, we probably need to make a few sacrifices here.
Just a couple of nights.
Need to
just a couple of nights. Bin the settlers on a Sunday.
Just take one. Exactly. Take the settlers away. Monday night is too good a night to give up. Take the settlers away. They're the ones that are causing us, the hiccups in the last 5 minutes of those championship games.
Love a Monday Night Club.
I mean, so good, but I have to agree with him. You never pin the settlers. The next day, you always need a couple just to sort of square it away. He also told us the age-old story of how he came to punch Austin Healey repeatedly on the 2001 Lions, which makes perfect sense. Outlined here by Will Greenwood.
He'd climbed into the boot of the bus waiting for me to throw my bag like a little Gollum with the ring, the special one. And I turned up and I'm getting changed and the lads all know. And I'm like going, I know, I've made it. I made it under the week. Where are my socks? I turned around and Bolshaw and Tyndall, who were the original cannon and ball, by the way, trying to take it serious. You're about to play New Zealand. Like, lad, can you stop messing around? And there was Oz, because in that era, he used to wear jock straps still. I don't think I have jock straps anymore. And he had my lucky socks down his jock strap, shaking them and said, come and get them if you want to play in them.
Good old Greens. Always good to catch up with one of the masters of the media. This year, actually, and it's worth just pinpointing this, we are mega proud as well about our sister pod, which has broken its own stories. It's been brilliantly marshalled by Elmer. It's allowed Skaz to talk all things rugby and all things beyond as well. They've had a lot of fun along the way. You've been involved in that a lot.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I think, we look back and what we've talked about in terms of where the England Roses are now, into how far they are ahead. And obviously, unfortunately for Skaz, she got injured in the first game of the season, but she's still a massive part of that. And she is classed as one of the greatest women's rugby players out there. And I just look forward to where the future could go with that. We are hoping to champion the women's rugby in terms of what we do with the Skaz and rugby. And of course, Haas couldn't hide his jealousy because his name isn't in.
I mean, I've got to say,
our pod.
I wince because I just never imagined having my name in a show, especially when Hask hasn't even got his name in the show.
You don't think I didn't kick off about that? When I saw that you were getting a show, we've had board meeting after board meeting. There's been a debate. I'm known as the bad. I mean, how bad is that?
I will say it's an utter farce that they've got that through. The good, the Skaz, I got the good, the Hask and the rugby surely has a real ring to it. But at the end of the day, I'll get over it, but I do stand by with the fact that it's utter nonsense.
In all fairness, Emily's quite grounded, but it has so gone to her head.
Yeah.
She doesn't turn up for
her own
show at the Allianz 15s, Premier 15s final. She didn't even turn up. She was too busy lording it around with some other media outlet. But in all seriousness, we've had so many amazing guests. So go check out if you haven't already.
Absolutely. We are, as we said, delighted that Elmer and Emily bring a little bit of common sense and a little bit of class to the family that is GB and S.
Some of the greatest stories are out there. Shauna Brown being a gas person, because she called me out calling her a gas man. Because you always say turn off the gas. You've always got to keep the gas man paid, is what you always say.
Yeah.
I mean, her story's underneath the Thames, and there are so many good stories out there. So please go and listen.
Do have a listen. Should we leave it? I mean, there's only one person we can really leave it with from a personal point of view. The man who lives rent-free inside my head, torments me when the curtains are drawn and the lights are out, and when there's no one there to talk to.
Is it true that
and I have paid millions of pounds of counselling?
It's like when you open the curtain, the caravan's there, and you close the curtain and you go, Cordelia, he's back again. And then you move the curtain and he's wheeled it around the corner.
One thing will haunt my soul is when he was doing that light for 40 minutes.
Amazing. He was doing it on purpose. He's
He's a class clown.
He's what an incredible
He's a
individual.
hell of a player, but he's an absolute class clown. I think it's fair to say this man sums up a lot of my torment and a lot of the challenges I face in working not only with him, but you and anyone else who ever comes in this studio under your jurisdiction. This is Joe Marler, the man who will end me.
So when I said I've got to go, and it's really quick, you then decided to be really complimentary, but go on for a fucking age.
Yeah, he'd written that monologue for ages, mate. He had to get it out. He's a Sky's
Alex,
presenter at the end of the day. He can't let anything go, can he?
You can all fuck off and see yourselves out.
There's the real Alex. I love him. That is the Alex I love, and I want to see him more.
Well done, Marler boy. Now, probably time for another retirement, really, isn't it?
I would say so. Yeah. It's about time.
In the new year, we're going on tour, apparently. You can come and experience this nonsense for yourselves if you would like to do just that. We're heading across the UK and Ireland to Sheffield, Liverpool, Edinburgh, Cardiff, Newcastle, Manchester, Dublin, Nottingham, Plymouth, Swansea, London, Oxford, Birmingham, Bath and Southend. Tickets are on sale now. Terms and conditions apply. Check website for further details, goodbadandrugby.com. We have been the good, the bad and the rugby for the last time and an emotional farewell to 2021. Good riddance.
Well, I thought it was going to be good riddance, but it might carry over to 2022. We might still be saying, fuck.
10 seconds on who we need to get on in the new year.
Rich McCall.
Yeah, Richie would be good to get back on, I think.
Sean Edwards.
Oh, yes. Can we tee that up?
I reckon we could definitely do that.
I think he was my coach of the year in 2021. The impact he's had not just with Les Bleus, but
Fabien
also across
Galtier.
Yeah, we could have Fabien on.
Simon Middleton.
Yep.
I'd quite like to get Anton Dupont on, actually, if you can speak English.
I'd like to get Anton de Beek on and talk about.
You would actually get on really well with him.
He's lovely. I know him. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Well, not like you know him because you're in with everybody because the Illuminati.
No, but he's a big golfer, so that's why we get on very well.
I don't know him. Not sure really I need to. What I was going to finish by saying, Jono.
Will
we ever get that done?
Yes. I think we could get that done.
He won't come on if you're here.
He said that we can get that done.
We had that bonding session at that dinner with him. He was, he couldn't stop talking about the vinyl. Do you remember?
The vinyl?
No, not the urinal, the vinyl. Do you remember we started that conversation in the thing about vinyl and he wouldn't, he went with it. It went up 3 hours later, he came up to it and, we've got vinyl. It's like,
when he's into something, he is properly, if you talk to him about NFL and college football, he can tell you the top 10 draft picks.
I once had a very good conversation with him about NPC players in New Zealand in 1992
Christ, imagine being a fly on the wall for that. The fly would have just been banging his head. The fly would have been flying at the window as fast as he could.
He's pulling his own wings off.
Fly just trying to trap his own head in the window.
Shut up.
The fly sprang into the can of raid. Shut up. Me and John were talking about the NPC. Shut up. What was I doing? Too busy fucking being a hero, being an absolute lad. So what I'm really into, my wife, because I love you.
What a lovely note on which to end.
Thank you to all the listeners.
Yeah, what a lovely touch.
And Happy New Year.
See you guys next year. Subscribe, like, share, spread the word.
That's a really good idea. Could you actually do that, please?
Please
do. We're up on listeners and we're down on subscribers.
Yeah, we need that. Subscribe and share and tell your friends.
See you in 2022.